Thanks for joining us for another episode of Sonic High School. If you haven't listened to the first one, I recommend you do so either on our main feed or on Patreon. Or don't. It's a harrowing experience, just like this one. If you would prefer to save yourself the time and most of the agony, there's also a teaser trailer on the Psychic Dolphin Garage YouTube. Once again, it's time to live and learn.
Don't feel like moving through your mind.
Author's note. I was going to make this the last chapter, but everyone just loves it, and my brain keeps exploding with new ideas, so I'm going to continue Sonic High School for some longer time, and make more chapters.
What fucking voice is that?
It's the author, that's what they sound like.
They're just very chatly?
Yeah. Alright. Sonic High School, Chapter 10.
Why are you here?
Screamed Tails with the anger of a million angry birds. Sonic was shocked because Tails was his best friend, and Tails was smart, but Tails was super pissed at Sonic for not coming to the science competition, even though they were best friends. Sonic moved his mouth, but words didn't come out because he did not know what to say. Sonic was a mixture of mad and sad and frustrating, because he did not know what could do to get Tails to be his friend again. At times like this, Sonic thought about Amy's fine body because it set his mind at ease. I am here for my friend, said Sonic.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to specify because I think it's important that ease in that last sentence is just a capital E apostrophe S.
Our friend, Espio. We are still friends too, Tails. You just are too mad to see that.
I know what I see,
said Tails, kind of screaming.
I am so smart.
Espio tried to get in between them, even though it was his house that they were in right now, and said, What the fuck did I do for Espio?
Every voice was Sonic
yeah.
with variations. I don't know, make something up, do something.
Guys, please, let's just make sure I can fight Knuckles and not get owned. Sonic and Knuckles ignored him for the moment and continued to be in a fuss. I'm sorry, bro. I don't understand. What can I do to make our friendship the best one ever once again? Said Sonic to Tails. Tails wiggled his two tails and looked to the side in a thinking way.
I don't know,
said Tails to Sonic.
But you know what? Here, take this.
Tails took out a blue book from a spot and threw it on the ground in front of Sonic. It was what it was when Sonic looked at it. It was Sonic's journal. What? How did you get this? Said Sonic to Tails. I gave this to Miss Lesson before she read about my balls' problems.
I lied. I did not go to the science competition that night. I still went to school, but instead of going to the science competition, I used my science hat of invisibility to sneak into Miss Lesson's room and get your journal. I wanted to get your journal so that no one else could read your business and see your gay ball problems that I know you still have even though you think you are getting better. I was going to give it back to you, but you were not there at the competition like you should have been, even though I am such a good friend to you. Even now, when I could have been reaching my moment of genius, I was doing a thing for you because I want you to be happy.
Tails said to Sonic with a voice of emotion. Sonic did not know what to say. High school drama was so insane to be a part of. Sonic picked up his journal and felt like he was going to cry because he was being an asshole jerk to his best friend who was only trying to make him happy. Tails, you did not have to do this, finally said Sonic, respondingly.
What matters is that I did,
said Tails.
And also that you did not care for my special day because you were too busy trying to be true boyfriend and girlfriend with Amy. Goodbye, Sonic.
Said Tails right before he flew out Espio's bedroom window with his flying tails, and then he did. This is so shitty, said Espio to Sonic, who is now the only other person. I don't know what the voice is, alright? It's just Espio.
Pick one.
We looked up his canon voice and it sucked, so...
Pick a voice, man.
I still have to fight with Knuckles tomorrow, but your different kind of fight with Tails is just as crazy.
You could also enunciate, though.
Yeah, okay.
Can't fucking tell what you're saying.
This is so shitty, said Espio to Sonic, who was now the only other person in his bedroom. I still have to fight Knuckles tomorrow, but your different kind of fight with Tails is just as crazy. This is for me to figure out with Tails, said Sonic. Let's get back to making sure you cannot be defeated by Knuckles. Sonic and Espio spent all night in Espio's bedroom, reading books and watching videos about fighting and learning how to be the best at it. By the time the night was over, Espio was ready to face Knuckles. They went to school on this new day, and school happened and was over, and now they were in the hall, where Knuckles said to meet him to fight. There was a crowd of people around him that included Sonic, who looked worried, Rouge, who looked worried and with her baby, and Vector, who was smiling. Also in the crowd was Tails, and with him Cream the rabbit, who was Charmy Bee's girlfriend. Cream was a little woman and pretty smart, but not as smart as Tails. Her boobs were smaller than both Amy's and Rouge's, but they were still high quality in their own way. It is surprising to most people that a gay like Charmy was even allowed to have a girlfriend, but it just goes to show you that the impossible is not what you think it is. Then Espio jumped over the crowd into the middle where Knuckles was. "So you decided to come anyway," said Knuckles, "even though you know your ass is gonna get torn up by my moves." "I do not want to fight you, Knuckles," said Espio to Knuckles, "but I am doing this for Charmy and Rouge. I am doing this for Charmy because you kidnapped him and for Rouge because you do not respect her baby." "Then let's do this," said Knuckles. Knuckles charged at Espio with his fists like an elephant running at a hunter trying to kill him for his powers, but Espio jumped out of the way and onto the wall like a pro jumper, which he learned how to do last night. Espio jumped at Knuckles with a kick move, and Knuckles punched at his foot, and they met with a purple and red explosion of power that knocked them both back. They continued to jump around and attack each other, and they did this for a while. It was difficult to watch for everyone. Rouge was in the crowd with her baby.
"This is so difficult to watch,"
said Rouge.
"Violence should not be a solution to conflict,"
said Rouge's baby, peeking out between his hands.
"You were right. Why do people do this like this? I hate it,"
said Rouge to Rouge's baby. Rouge had become a different person since she had a baby. She used to be only sexy, but now Rouge was sexy and matronly.
"Yes, fuck this evil world,"
said Rouge's baby. Rouge then revealed her boob to her baby and had him eat from it as a baby would do. Rouge's baby thought this was the best part about being a baby, because not everyone would get cool boobs like this delivered to them on their doorstep like a milkman. Babies did not have much to worry about anyway, so Rouge's ace boobs made paradise a realty for the baby.
"I have a feeling,"
said Rouge's baby.
"You should lie down and relax."
So Rouge lied down on her back and the fight continued to go on. Knuckles and Espio were both bloody and gross-looking, like two waiters who were holding messy foods and then walked into each other, causing the meals to launch into the air and then fall down on them and ruin the nice clothes they got from the store. They were breathing hard and were tired, but they kept going, jumping and kicking and punching and running. It looked like two people doing a dance, but hitting each other also. Knuckles kicked his feet out at Espio, but Espio jumped up and dodged them and came back down and hit Knuckles in the mouth and knocked him onto the floor/ground. "Is this enough yet? Are we done?" shouted Espio to Knuckles. "How will this ever end?" Knuckles looked up from the ground at Espio standing over him. Knuckles had a twinkle in his eye as...
Try that again.
Oh shit, yeah, you're right. Knuckles had a Twinkie in his eye and Knuckles had a Twinkie in his eye as he looked up at Espio and crawled towards him. Espio did not do anything but watch him and feel dangerous. "Come closer," said Knuckles in a whisper voice, so Espio bent down and put his face to Knuckles's. Knuckles looked up and down Espio's sweaty purple body and into his eyes and said, "I respect you," and then grabbed his face as gentle as a deer and kissed him on the mouth. When Knuckles kissed him, he did it extra hard, sometimes with his eyes shut and sometimes looking into Espio's deep yellow eyes that looked like a circus of loving men. Their tongues met in the middle of their mouths like two chicken cutlets that were acting... like two chicken cutlets that were acting like cats that loved each other. When Espio was watching fighting videos last night, he was not expecting he was going to have to do kissing too, but he liked it. They went on kissing for a full minute while everyone watched, wondering if they were done fighting or just taking a break to kiss. Finally, the back part of Knuckles' body began to lift off the ground while his mouth was still making out with Espio. Eventually, the power became so strong that his mouth was removed from Espio and their spit was like a shiny extension cord that connected an appliance to a wall outlet. Knuckles then began to glow while floating in the air, and the whole place became a little windy. On the side, Tails said to Cream,
"Wow, I know what this is. This is a rare moment of science we will never see probably again in a lifetime or ever. It is called a body donation, and it was invented by Einstein. It is when someone reaches a moment of such powerful love that they can choose to restart their lives as part of the person they love. Einstein invented this by making his wife love him so much one night during a romance pasta dinner that she became a baby that was like him, but then he killed his wife, the baby, because he thought it was too dangerous to have her live on in the world without testing it in a laboratory first. It is a fact that if it looks like magic, it is not magic, it is science, so deal with it.
What? What? The lore.
It is not magic, it is science, so deal with it.
The lore is happening. Knuckles glided on the wind forward through the crowd of people in front of him and into Rouge's mouth, where he disappeared into. It was a good thing Rouge's baby had premonitions and told her to lie down, as then Knuckles did a U-turn in Rouge's sex-filled body and came out of her butt as a newborn baby that looked like Espio. This was all science. Sonic High School, Chapter 11.
That baby is Espio's, said Tails. Tails, being smart, was right. Knuckles had done an Einstein body donation and become Espio and Rouge's baby, but was still Knuckles. Rouge picked the baby up and held him in her other arm because her baby with Knuckles before he became baby was in her other arms. Now you have two babies to look after, said Tails. Good luck! Sonic was on the other side of the hall and wished that Tails was talking to him, but Tails was still mad at him, so he was not. Rouge grabbed her two babies and had them both eat from her terrific boobs. She smiled and felt like a mother, and Sonic thought. Sonic said what he was thinking and said,
Rouge, you should name your babies. It'll be hard to tell them apart if you do not.
Rouge thought that this thought was good. Rouge went over to Espio, who was sitting on the ground looking bad and tired from fighting Knuckles before he became Espio's baby. Hey, Espio, what should we name our baby that looks like you? Said Rouge to Espio.
It is still Knuckles, according to Tails, so we should keep his name Knuckles,
said Espio to Rouge. Okay, said Rouge, and I will name my baby with Knuckles before he became a baby Knuckles Jr., because I had him with Knuckles before he became a baby, and he looks like Knuckles before he became a baby. Rouge was happy and walked out of the hall, and then out of the school like a bat, and then Espio did the same thing, but in a way that was like a chameleon would instead.
There's one thing that everyone's forgetting,
said Sonic.
Charmy B is still locked up at Knuckles' house. I will go rescue him.
Sonic ran out of the school and to Knuckles' house. Sonic ran into Knuckles' mom on his way to his room in his house.
Knuckles' mom,
said Sonic.
Some things happen and Knuckles looks different. It'll be okay, and you'll understand soon enough. Please do not worry.
Sonic said this in such a way that Knuckles' mom smiled and kept cooking in the kitchen. Sonic was not just fast, but also very good at relieving people. Sonic also noticed that Knuckles' mom was kind of hot, with solid boobs that she had developed for decades. Sonic went upstairs to Knuckles' room, which was painted all red, just like Knuckles before he became a baby. There was a cage in the corner of the room, and Charmy Bee was in it. Sonic unlocked the cage with the key on Knuckles' desk and opened the cage.
Come on out, Charmy Bee,
said Sonic.
You are rescued.
Charmy walked out instead of flying like he always does and said, Thanks, Sonic. I am going to go home to prepare for my role in the play that is soon. I am the lead role. Sonic forgot about the play because the play was the gayest thing in the school, but it was going to happen even if no one went to watch it. The next day of school happened, and Tails was in class with Cream. It was a very difficult science class because Tails was the smartest person in the school and he only took the hardest classes. Cream was in the class because she wanted to be mentally challenged. We have a test in this class tomorrow, said Tails to Cream. It is going to be hard, and I have to study for it to make sure I get a good grade. Tails always got good grades but studied anyway. Tails looked at Cream, who was there.
Me too, said
Cream to Tails.
I know, I have an idea. Why don't you come over to my house tonight and we can study? Studying with you will help me get a better grade. I just know it.
This idea was the best thing ever to Tails. Tails secretly had a crush on Cream and wanted to feel the body of his sexy friend always, even though she was Charmy Bee's girlfriend. Cream was a different kind of sexy that was only really sexy to some people, but Tails was one of them. Okay, said Tails, sounding more excited than he wanted to. I will come to your house tonight.
That sounds like a threat.
Tails was very smart, but he was not the best at getting with teenage women, so parts of life like this were a challenge to Tails. It was now this evening, and Tails was getting ready to go to Cream's house. Tails was excited to get closer to Cream, But he was also nervous he might mess it up like a love idiot. He thought about asking Sonic, but then remembered he is pissed at him. Then he thought about asking Espio, but Espio was at the hospital getting all of his wounds fixed from being in a fight with Knuckles before he became a baby. Tails wanted to seem like a sexy man to Cream, so he sprayed his dad's colon on himself and put breath wash in his mouth. Tails smelled good and looked good, and he went to Cream's house by flying.
I'm waiting for Tails,
said Cream as she sat on her bed in her bedroom studying without Tails. Tails flew into the window. Hi, Cream, I'm at your house now, said Tails. Tails sat on her bed sort of next to her, but not too close to promote sex thoughts. Let's study, said Tails.
Well, before we study, you smell good, Tails.
Cream put her face right up against Tails and smelled hard like the big bad wolf before blowing a house down. Oh my god,
I hope that picked up.
Tails laughed all nervously and said, Do I really? Oh, haha, thanks. I always smell this way. I guess you just notice when you are home. Tails did a little wiggle on her bed and pushed her face and body away because he was nervous. Please let's study. Tails and Cream studied for the test for the next hour, and the whole time Tails could only concentrate on one thing, his growing erection. Tails touched it sometimes when they were studying just to make sure it stayed put and Cream could not see it. But it was getting so big that it would pop out of place like when the straw in your soda rises up, probably because of the bubbles, and you push it back down, but it just comes back up anyway, so you get iced tea instead. Tails was still the most nervous, but he decided that this was his chance. He would not take another chance as good as this if he did not take it now. Cream, I have to tell you something, screamed Tails to Cream, letting out all of his nervousness so he could be smooth like a movie star.
What is it, Tails? Tell me all about it,
said Cream back, looking hot. Tails was not so nervous anymore. Tails said, Cream, I have lusted after your rabbit genitals since day one. I think you are the hottest woman I have ever been to. I know you are Charmy's girlfriend, but toss him aside and let my penis murder everything inside of you.
Holy fuck.
Jesus Christ. Tails took out his penis, and he was so in love that his penis was literally screaming.
Wow. Yeah?
Sorry.
You alright?
No?
Wow,
said Cream.
I did not know you felt this way, but I'm glad you do because Charmy B is a total gay.
Cream reached over and grabbed Tails' penis and began to give it a good shake.
Like a handshake.
Firm shake.
Like a firm handshake.
You can tell a lot about people by the way they shake your penis.
Yeah. I mean, you want to have a good penis shake. It's a good first impression.
Absolutely. Like, the grip, pressure, all of that.
You don't want it to, like, over squeeze. It's a really, like, asshole thing when, like, people will, like, just grab your dick real hard. And
but you don't want,
like it's a power thing.
You don't want, like, a wimpy, flaccid hand on your penis either.
No, that's what I really hate when somebody goes in for a dick shake and it's just like...
And they're just, like, two
fingers,
fingers,
like a wet fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do? Lean in and kiss it? Where were we? She loved his boner with her hands, and pulled him around the room by his penis like he was a wagon to get him more excited. Tails' penis was so big that it was about to burst like someone stepping on a tube of Colgate toothpaste. Tails could feel the semen bubbling up inside his penis like Santa going back up the chimney when he was done, and the presents he had left down in the house were Tails' balls, which were already there, though. Cream was getting hot, too. She did not take off her clothes, but Tails could tell she also had an erection. But then, just when things were becoming like one of the porns that Sonic had in his room and his mom let him have, Cream stopped and said,
No, I cannot do this. Not while I'm still boyfriend and girlfriend with Charmy. He may be a fag ass, but we're in a relationship and I need to respect him. I will break up with him tomorrow and then we can do sex.
Cream collected her things together.
I think I'm ready for the test tomorrow. Thanks, Tails.
Aw, man, said Tails. Tails put his scrotum away and was sad about not getting to ejaculate his dick. Okay, as long as you promise me your sex.
I promise,
said Cream, and then Cream kissed Tails on the cheek. Tails thought it was cool and flew back home.
Hey, hey, teach me how to do it, hey. Baby, like smooth. What? Can you teach me how to do it? You know why? 'Cause all the bitches love me. All I need is a beat that's super bumpin', and for you to back it up and dump it. Put your arms out front, lean side to side. They gon' be on you when they see you with that.
Sonic High School, Chapter 12. It was a new day, and Sonic woke up from out of his bed and scratched his balls. He could feel the rash on his balls, and it was getting worse than before. A sickness still ravages my balls, said Sonic as he wrote it in his journal that he now had back from Tails when he took it from school after Sonic had given it away to Miss Lesson. Sonic was done complaining about his balls and went to school. In history class, he talked to Amy. Hey, Amy, said Sonic to Amy.
Hi, Sonic,
said Amy and kissed him hotly like a girlfriend. What is up? Said Sonic to Amy.
It is awful. I have bad news,
said Amy to Sonic. That stinks. Do you want to have sex later? Said Sonic to Amy.
No, thank you. Everything is so busy right now.
They talk like a sex ed video, like a health class sex ed video.
No, thank you. Everything is so busy right now,
said Amy to Sonic.
My bad news is that I have to go see the play tonight for a class.
Wow, that is unfair, said Sonic to Amu. It's AMU, said AMY. Even the principal says that the play is super gay, but I guess you have to go. Sorry. The school play was so gay.
I wanted to know if you would come with me,
said Amy in a way to Sonic that sounded like she was trying to be attractive.
The play will be much better with someone else there.
That is the real bad news. I do not want to go near the play, but I will go so we can have sex later, said Sonic back to Amy. Amy kissed Sonic, and so did Sonic to Amy, and they made such a cute, hot couple. Then Sonic and Amy had the rest of the class, and Sonic went to another class, thinking about how much it was going to suck that he has to go to the play tonight. The play was just a bunch of people doing gay things and music, like a car full of losers. Sonic was now in a different class, where Rouge and Shadow were also in the class. Rouge was with Knuckles, and Knuckles Jr. too, like always now. Hey guys, said Sonic to them.
Hey, Sonic,
said them to Sonic together at the same time to save time. What is new? Said Sonic to them. Charmy has been acting really weird and different lately, said Shadow in a dark way, which is like him.
He is probably nervous for the play,
said Rouge suggestively. Wait, so Knuckles Jr. is the original baby, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't make any assumptions, but we should keep an eye on him to make sure he is okay,
said Knuckles Jr. Knuckles Jr. turned out to be a really cool baby.
I foresee something strange at the play tonight. The play is gay. The play is gay.
The play is gay. The play is gay, said everyone together, agreeing. Everyone knew it. How are you and Tails doing? Said Shadow to Sonic. Tails still hates my body, inside and outside, said Sonic with almost tears in his eyes, but he was too big and a man for that. It is so hard to be best friends with someone who hates you and does not want to talk to you. I know how you say it, said Shadow. A lot of people hate me because I am dark, said Shadow. But I am not trying to be a supervillain. It is just who I am. Shadow squinted his eyes at the people around him in a way that is hard to describe and kept going. I do crimes in the city, but I am not a bad person. You can do bad things and mistakes sometimes and still be a good person. And people should still like you for it, unless you're really a bad person, like Eggman, who's a shit dick. Maybe one day people will see I am a good person, even if dark. Sonic listened to what Shadow said so powerfully that it was like Sonic wrote down everything on a piece of paper and put it in a special folder, and put that folder in a safe place so he could always go back to read it. Then Sonic itched at his balls. His balls. Wow, that's a lot packed into that short sentence. His balls were a wreck. That class ended, and the rest of school did too, and Sonic went home thinking about how his balls were like two blimps covered in volcanoes that could fit on the blimps, and itched as well. When Sonic got to his home, Sonic's mom walked up to him and said,
Sonic, I went to clean your room and saw what you wrote about your gay ball problems. I am worried about your balls and fear it could be a mortal illness, so I made a doctor's appointment. But first we will have dinner. I got more Chinese food because I know how much you liked it last time.
Don't read my journal, Mom! Screamed Sonic. Then Sonic went and ate the food, and just like last time, would you know it, there was a fortune cookie, and Sonic opened it and ate the cookie part and kept the paper inside to read the magical fortune on the paper. He looked at the paper and read it, and it said, "One man's pubic illness will cause the death of millions." Some people did not believe what fortune cookies said, but Sonic knew they were magic and were always right. So he was a little worried and wondered what it could mean. Where did he get that? Where did he find that information? Then Sonic went to the doctor. Sonic did not like going to the doctor because he was Chinese, like the food Sonic had, and made him feel nerves. Okay, I thought it meant that Sonic was Chinese at first, and I was like, are Chinese people afraid of doctors? Sonic went into his doctor room and sat on the chair that the doctor told him to. Although, it's not much better that Sonic is racist, I guess. The doctor took out some papers and looked at them. Hello, Sonic. It has been a while since I saw you last. Sonic's mom tells me you're having problems with your balls. I'm going to do some tests on you, but first I'm going to look at your papers. I see from looking at your papers that your balls and penis are the biggest in your high school. Good job, Sonic, the doctor said. Sonic appreciated the truth and nodded his head and smiled. It was okay to talk about your penis and balls with the doctor, because that is what they do, even if it automatically makes them gay. The doctor made a lot of money, so being gay was probably worth it. Then the doctor started doing tests. Sonic passed all of them awesomely, and even the doctor was surprised at how Sonic was the best at everything, except being smart, which Tails was the best at, but Sonic was still pretty smart too. Then they got to the last test, which was about Sonic's balls. The doctor took out a test tube and filled it with pieces from Sonic's balls, and he tested them with machines. The machines printed out reports about it, and then the doctor took them and looked at them with his very, very Chinese eyes. I think we canceled the Sonic High School author last time, but doubly so. This looks bad, said the doctor, looking at the reports that the machines printed out about Sonic's balls. It looks like you have a big disease. Uh-oh, what do I do? Said Sonic to the doctor, really worried about the welfare of his balls. I do not know. This is a legendary disease that only comes around once every 1,000,000 years. No one has ever found a cure for this disease, and what it can do is very bad. This disease will go from your balls to your penis and then up to your brain, and it can kill you eventually. There are other things that it does probably, but I do not know because it is so rare, and you will just have to call me up and tell me what it does when you find out. All I can tell you right now, Sonic, is to keep your balls away from everyone you know. Do not touch them to other people because it will spread, and they will die, and it will spread more, and the whole world may be at stake here. Please be safe, said the doctor, in a calm way but also scared because it was so serious.
Note, steak is spelled like ribeye steak.
No, but I have to have my first sex with Amy. We were going to do it at the play, which I'm going to from here, said Sonic, crying, sad and mad and afraid of things. Balls are an important part of sex. Sonic was always so healthy and the fastest person ever, but some things just cannot be stopped, like this ball disease. Too bad, said the doctor. If you do that, it will be awful, and the first person to die will be Amy. You should not want your girlfriend to die. The doctor was right, but Sonic was still worried about it. Okay, well I have to go to the play now, said Sonic, and ran out with the most nervous feelings that Sonic has ever had. Sonic thought about it, and it was the most important high school drama. What is more important, health or love? I'm getting another drink. Sonic High School, Chapter 13.
A cool car raced through city streets. Brrrr, said the car. Brrrr, said the car.
I'm sorry, it's funny.
Brrrr, said the car as it went down the big street with lots of other cars on it. The city was filled of buildings with lights and other things like places like McDonald's. Comma? Shouted the car as it went. Like, it's just, I don't really know how to vocalize that.
It's an empty quotation with just the comma and the quotations around nothing.
Yeah. Shouted the car as it went back and forth, going in between other cars so it did not have to wait in traffic. The car was playing techno and rock and roll music. Techno is short for technology. Reek! Yelled the car, doing a big turn in the city intersection.
Location update on the Ultra Chaos Emerald,
said the driver of the car. The car screen bleeped different things, and then, in a robot voice, said, Beep beep, Ultra Chaos Emerald getting closer. Shadow looked at the map screen and drove faster towards the red dot that was where the last Ultra Chaos Emerald was. Beep 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 beep, said the car in a robot voice as Shadow got closer to the dot while driving his car. It was just around the corner now. Shadow did another fast turn at this intersection, and right to where the red dot on the map was. Beep, 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 screamed the car in a robot voice as his car dot and the Ultra Chaos Emerald dot on the map moved into each other. And in the real world, Shadow pulled up to the curb and there was a couple of gangmen.
Thanks, Omega,
said Shadow as he hopped out of the car, which was black and red, and onto the Dark City street. He looked at the black man. Come on. He looked at the black standing there, and they looked dangerous. But Shadow knew they had the Ultra Chaos Emeralds. Shadow took out a gun and pointed it at them and said,
"Give me the last Ultra Chaos Emerald."
And they looked surprised and startled. They checked their pockets, and while they were doing that, the gun became used and Shadow shot all three of them. They were now dead. Shadow reached into the middle one's pocket and found what he had come for, the last Ultra Chaos Emerald. They were like regular Chaos Emeralds, but more powerful and a secret until they were found out. Shadow hopped back into his car, Omega the robot car, and said,
"I got it! Now I can get one wish to come true. I'm gonna think about what I will use it on before I use it."
Shadow looked at the map and said,
"Get me directions to Hamburger Restaurant."
Omega changed some screens and said in a robot voice, "Beep boop bop, Hamburger Restaurant location found. It is over here." And Shadow looked at where the dot was. It was right nearby, so Shadow drove there with more loud sounds. Shadow went to a drive-thru and got a hamburger and fries and sat in the parking lot in Omega and ate it.
"This is great. I love this place. It is always the place that I love to come to after I finish a crime,"
said Shadow darkly. Omega did not need food because he was a robot shaped into a car. Shadow finished eating and threw the garbage into Omega's trash hole, where he turned litter into gasoline, which was useful. Then Shadow took his penis out.
"Hey, Omega, check this out,"
said Shadow, laughing, as he took his big, neat, hard penis and stuck it in Omega's trash hole. Unrecognized item in trash hole. Error, said Omega.
"That's my penis, man,"
said Shadow to Omega. Penis, not trash, not allowed in trash hole, said Omega to Shadow. Shadow couldn't fit all of his big, strong penis into Omega's trash hole anyway, so he took it out and gave Omega a taste of his balls, too. Omega did not recognize Shadow's balls as trash either, which was good, and then Shadow put his balls back and started to drive off with his hand still on his penis.
"Where is Silver's house?"
said Shadow to Omega while he rubbed really quick and hard on his penis with one hand while his other hand was driving. Omega updated his map and showed where Silver's house was on the other side of the Dark City. Shadow kept empowering his penis with his one hand, and he drove faster and more dangerously. Soon, his penis was so big he could hardly see in front of him anymore, and he was zigzagging across the street trying to keep both his penis and his car in control. Then he put both hands on his penis and made it do all sorts of things until it was done.
Yeah.
You good?
I'm not good, no.
Then he put both hands of his on his penis and made it do all sorts of things until it was done, and his penis redecorated the inside of Omega with white curtains.
"Just so you know, that's my semen,"
said Shadow to Omega. Omega knew that already. Shadow put both of his hands back on the steering wheel and drove faster, but suddenly some loud sounds and flashing lights came up behind him. "Whack, whack, whack, the police is following you," said Omega. Shadow decided to follow the laws and stopped his car in the street and waited for the police to come over to him. Shadow's penis was still big, though, so he tucked it under his leg on the right, and it stuck up in the middle of Omega the car, and Shadow put his hand on it. The police came over to the front window of Omega and looked at Shadow inside.
"Cool vehicle,"
said the police.
"Thanks,"
said Shadow to the police, back.
"Okay, do you know that you're breaking the law by going that fast and back and forth on the street?"
said the police to Shadow, sounding more like Miss Lesson than a real person.
"Yeah, I do,"
said Shadow, and he patted his hand on his penis in the middle of the front of the car.
"Sir, please take your hand off the gear stick in the middle of the car right now,"
said the police to Shadow. Shadow looked at the police and laughed and said,
"That's not the gear stick, that is my penis,"
and drove off before the police could say anything or really even react at all. "You have broken another law," said Omega to Shadow. Shadow laughed because he could see the police far behind him giving up and going to look for an easier criminal.
"Now,"
said Shadow,
"let's get to Silver's house."
Shadow drove the car fast to Silver's house on the other side of the city, and when he got there, he braked the car so hard that the sound it made was like hearing the world's largest bird get punched in his tummy. Shadow honked the horn, and when he finished honking the horn, Silver jumped out of the window and onto the street and into the side seat of Omega.
Hey, Shadow. Thanks for the ride.
Good anime villain.
Thank you.
Said Silver.
Cool curtains. Why are there curtains?
It's his cum.
Oh, his semen, like he explained.
Uh-huh.
Cool curtains you put up.
Shadow laughed and said,
No problem. Now if I do not hurry up by driving fast, you will be late for the play.
Silver said,
Do not worry, we will get there in time.
Silver was another big role in the play, but he was not a huge gay like Charmy B. Silver was kind of like Sonic, but less fast. Sonic also had the best morals, but maybe Silver dressed better, but that was kind of gay too. Silver did have this big hair thing on the front that looked like a marijuana, though, so maybe Sonic was better at being stylish anyway. It is hard to tell because Silver lived in the city, which was kind of far away from high school. Shadow stepped on the gases, and the car went away through the city into the moonlight and towards out of the city to high school.
That may have been the best chapter so far. Sonic High School, Chapter 14. Sonic and Amy got to high school and went to the play, which was at the school. When they got to the auditorium, they were not expecting to be surprised, but they were, because the auditorium was actually full of men and women idiots wanting to see the play. Cool young people such as high school students did not come to see the play unless they had to. The place was so full that Sonic and Amy had to sit in bad seats surrounded by strangers. They could have been dirty or usually did crime. Sonic looked around the place and saw Rouge and Knuckles Jr., who was a baby, sitting really by the door out, and Tails and Cream all the way on the other side, which is where they probably would have sat anyway because Tails hated Sonic to the sky. Sonic also saw Shadow standing around places, but he did not get in a seat because he was too bad for that.
We're at the play now,
Said Amy to Sonic, even though she was surrounded by people who were neither of them.
I wonder when it will begin.
It's going to start soon, said Sonic back to Amy. What I am wondering is not that, but it is if Charmy is going to mess up big time because he has been acting weird all week. I bet you he will. Sonic laughed about this because it did not really matter to him, but it did to Charmy. The play they were doing was the Christmas story, even though it was not Christmas time, but they thought it was a good idea to do anyway. In the play, Silver played Joseph, who was Jesus' dad. Charmy played Mary, because even though he was not a girl, everyone thought he was anyway. Baby version Jesus was going to be played by Knuckles, who is fitted for the role now that he was a baby. Sonic and Amy sat patiently in the seats they were in, even though Sonic could have been out running around. Sonic waited by rubbing Amy's leg and seeing how close he could get his hand to her vagina before she rubbed him off. Sonic determined that Amy was prime and ready for sex, because her vagina felt hard and loose as far as he could tell when he could get close to it with his hand before the play began. He almost forgot totally that he had a deadly ball disease. The play eventually started, and it was just as gay as you thought it would be. There was singing and songs, and otherwise it was just like the Christmas story always was. Mary got a letter from an angel saying she was going to have a baby, but she did not want to have the baby at home because the king would not let babies vote, so Mary and Joseph rode bikes all the way from London to Jerusalem. When they got to there, the hospital was full, so they went to a barn and had the baby in there, and it turned out to be the legendary hero Jesus. Through the whole play, Silver did a really good job, and Charmy did an okay job, but everyone sure believed he was a woman because his voice was so high and girls. Then they got to the ending, where Mary was to have her baby out. Mary flipped onto her front, and Joseph pulled Jesus out of her butt, which looked totally fake. Sonic could tell, even with special effects. Joseph held Jesus up to show God, and then gave him to Mary, who was actually Charmy. Charmy looked at Jesus, Knuckles, really close, and then reached into his clothing with the hand that was not holding him and pulled out a knife.
Time to get murdered,
said Charmy as he started to kill Knuckles. Just as he began to do this, Silver bodily flew into them and knocked Knuckles up and away from Charmy.
Oh my god, what is happening?
Said Amy, who was startled hard. Charmy's trying to kill Knuckles, obviously, said Sonic to Amy. It was true, and people started to be yelling and screaming. Just then, a gunshot came from the back of the audience. Shadow pulled out his gun from his spot and aimed it at Charmy B from the back of the audience. Shadow fired his gun, and the bullet hit his head, but he must have been wearing a gun-proof helmet, because the bullet from the gun went off his head and up into the ceiling, where it hit a light, and the light fell down along with other things. Something from the ceiling fell into the back of the stage, where the props were, and one of the props was a bomb that they used for some things. The prop was a real bomb, though, and when the thing hit it, the bomb exploded. The bomb exploded with a huge explosion, like a bunch of horses made of fire running through the place. Suddenly, people did not really care about the play anymore because the place was full of fire and could kill you. Rouge and Knuckles Jr. already got out quick right away because they were by the door. Sonic looked and saw Amy next to him was almost unconscious because of all the fire and smoke and shocking things. Sonic picked her up and ran out of the auditorium with his fast speed. Sonic found Rouge and Knuckles Jr. outside in the hallway where it was safe.
Are you okay?
Said Rouge.
Knuckles Jr. predicted that this would happen, so we sat by the door so we could get out easy.
Yes, we are okay, said Sonic. Amy here is going to do a shock attack, but it is nothing she will not get over. Is Sonic a doctor? Sonic looked around and saw people running out, but there was a lot of other people still stuck in the auditorium, and some of them were fainted. People were leaving and not helping the other people get out, but the lunch lady who had ears but was deaf was running into the auditorium and carrying women and children back out. The lunch lady lived in Mongolia by herself as a child, and became very strong from carrying trees back from the frozen forests to the villages that she traveled between, so now she could carry stacks of people. Since she was deaf, all the noises that the fire was making did not bother her because she could not hear.
We stan, honestly.
We stan!
Like, holy shit,
We
what
stan!
a queen.
What a queen. Sonic saw the lunch lady bring out cream, but Tails was not being brought out because he was not a woman or child. Sonic thought... Classic misandry from the author of Sonic High School. Sonic thought, damn, he's still my friend. Sonic swallowed his scary feelings and ran into the burning auditorium to Tails, who was passed out in the front. That's P-A-S-T, out in the front. Sonic picked Tails up and ran and brought his body outside to the hallway and began doing CPR on his body. Sonic thought, this will look gay. But it did not matter because Tails was still his friend. Sonic pushed on his body and started kissing him to give him life again. Sonic kept kissing and kissing, and Amy and Rouge and Knuckles Jr. watched him as he kissed Tails' face, but Tails was not waking up. Sonic, said Shadow over on the side. Charmy escaped and is running through the school like a murderer now. Stop CPR kissing Tails. You will have to help us catch him. Then Silver gave Knuckles to Rouge and said, he's safe now, but he needs to sleep. Rouge was so happy she could have kissed him, but did not. Sonic looked and said, Amy, finish doing CPR on Tails. I will let you, and not get jealous. Sonic kissed her mouth and felt one of her boobs and ran off with Shadow and Silver to go catch the guy who was trying to kill baby Knuckles that was now running around the school and could danger them all. Author's note. I wrote this chapter on a train. Author's second note. I fix a typo. Sonic High School, Chapter 15.
Shadow and Silver ran ahead into the school, but Sonic stopped to go to the bathroom, and he took an enormous, bad-smelling poop. Sonic knew he must be very emotional, because this poop was so big that when he tried to flush the toilet, the big poop log just folded in half and clogged the toilet easily, while looking like part of a really fat pretzel that you would get at the mall, not like the little ones in bags from the supermarket. Sonic just said, forget it, and ran out of the now very stinky bathroom and after Charmy Bee. Sonic passed Shadow and Silver, who were in different hallways and going different ways, but he did not pass them at the same time because they were in different hallways, and because even though Sonic was very fast, he could not actually be in two different places at the same time. Sonic went one way, and Shadow went the other way, and Silver went another other way, and it kept happening. One room that Sonic looked in was the art room. It made Sonic remember having art class with Charmy Bee. Charmy could not control his gay urges like everyone else, and used...
Like everyone else?
Everyone else. This is a different kind of gay urge. This is advanced gay urges.
I see.
Yeah. Charmy could not control his gay urges like everyone else, and used all the colors in every picture, where, like, Sonic just used blue, and Amy just used pink, and other people... and other people were also normal like that. Sonic thought about how this was, and that it was still surprising that Charmy could do something like this. Shadow went into a room, among other rooms, that was the car-fixing room. Shadow remembered about how he had car-fixing class with Charmy, and how Charmy was really terrible at fixing cars because it was not in him to do something that was like a man would do. Shadow thought it was weird how Charmy could now do something that was so manly, like killing. Misandry. And one room that Silver ran into was the gym room, where Silver one time had gym class with Charmy Bee. He remembered how Charmy was positively the worst at sports and being an athlete, so it made him wonder why Charmy could do something that was actually doing something, like killing. Sonic and Shadow and Silver ran around and around, and eventually they just got tired and could not find Charmy at all. Charmy was trying to be a murderer, but they were just tired of looking for him, so they sat down in chairs and didn't do anything else now. Back in the front of the school, Amy decided that she needed to go to the bathroom. Rouge went with her because she had to go too, and Cream stayed with Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. and Tails, who was still trying to become awake. Most of the people had left the school by now, but there were still some waiting to get into the women's bathroom. But Amy and Rouge did not feel like waiting in line, so they just went to the men's bathroom, where normally it was the people inside were men. Amy and Rouge were not men, so this was against the rules. As soon as Amy opened the door, a superpowered smell hit her in the face. It punched her right in the nose because it was Sonic's poop smell. "Oh my god!" screamed Rouge. "What is that smell?" "I have heard this smell 1,000,000 times before," said Amy to Rouge, who could say this because she was Sonic's girlfriend, meaning that she has been around Sonic pooping. "This smell is Sonic's poop." Amy and Rouge went into the bathroom anyway, because you can never get a break when it comes to going to the bathroom. No matter what, you always end up going, even if you try not to all night. They were holding their hands above their noses, and then Amy opened a stall door, and inside what was a shocking thing to see, but she saw it anyways. It was Charmy Bee. "Ah, it's you!" screamed Amy in a scared and shocked way. "You're a murderer!" "Not yet," said Charmy. "But now I will start to be by killing you!" Charmy jumped at her from inside the stall and into Amy, and they fell back, and Charmy was on top and holding a knife and was about to cut Amy apart when Rouge came over and kicked Charmy, and he flew off her body and over to the wall by rolling. "Take this," said Rouge, and she flapped her bat wings at Charmy to push all of the horrible poop air at him. It all went to him, but then Charmy got up and ran right at Amy with his knife and cut her on the legs because he is short, and then jumped back. "Ow!" said Amy. "I'm dying!" Amy fell backwards and got dizzy. "No, stay with me," said Rouge. "Use your special move while you can." Amy knew what Rouge was talking about, so Amy used her special attack.
Special attack!
Ahem. Amy shouted, "Girl blood!" and opened her legs so a stream of blood shot at Charmy. Since Amy was so good at being nice and caring, which is using your heart, Amy was able to speed up her heart so fast that her blood pumped out of the wound on her legs like a super soaker filled up by vampires. The blood hit Charmy in the face and body and all over really, and it was steaming and burning him, but he looked like he didn't care. Amy looked shocked and yelled, "How can you be so invincible?" Then Rouge said, "I bet he can't handle my special attack. Romance bite." Rouge flew with her bat wings and went over to Charmy and bit him right in the neck using her fangs and tried to make him fall in love with her, but it did not work. "It is not working!" cried Amy. "He must have superpowers! He is going to kill us for sure!" Amy and Rouge tried to get away from Charmy, but he kept blocking them and coming at them with the knife. They were finally trapped in the corner, holding on to each other with their best-in-show boobs pressing up against each other and looking like the sexiest Legos ever.
Fuck, that's great. That's awesome.
Then, all of a sudden, Tails came into the bathroom and threw a piece of electronics at Charmy. Charmy looked up at Tails and said, "But you are supposed to be beep and then died right there. Tails went over to Amy and Rouge and definitely stopped for a second to check out their boobs without them knowing, but then stopped and said, "You are safe now. That was not Charmy, it was a robot." "A robot? How did you know?" said Amy. Tails, being the smartest, thought it was a question for idiots, but said, "I knew as soon as Charmy was not being hurt by Sonic's poop stink. I was watching from the door. Normally Charmy would have complained and passed out from smelling that, but he did not, so I knew. As soon as that happened, I ran and went and got a robot killer device for my electronics."
That's science, baby. That's all science.
"Wow, thanks," said Amy, and kissed Tails on the cheek for a reward. "Really, Tails, you saved us," said Rouge, and kissed Tails on the other cheek. This shows that you can be cool by being smart, except if you are a nerd ass. Tails and Amy and Rouge walked out of the bathroom and back to where Cream and Knuckles Jr. was, and soon Sonic and Shadow and Silver came back, and they were all back together. The lunch lady was the only other person still there, and she saw how tired they looked, so she made them all a bunch of chow meat sandwiches, and they all ate until their tummies were gonna burst. All the time while they were eating, though, Sonic thought,
"But then where is Charmy? And where's the guy who made the robot? And so many other things.
High school drama is just so crazy to be a part of. Sonic High School, Chapter 16. It was now a new day of school, and Sonic went to it. Sonic took a peek at the auditorium where the bomb had gone off last night, and it looked like they were fixing it, so that was good. Sonic went to his first class, and his second class, and all the classes after that until lunch, which is what he was at now. Sonic went to his lunch table and was about to say, "Hey guys," but then he looked at his normal lunch table and he thought, "What has happened?" Tails was not here because he has been mad at Sonic. Knuckles was not here because he was now a baby and with Rouge. Espio was not here because he was at the hospital after fighting with Knuckles before he became a baby. And Charmy was not here because he was still in a disappearing mystery. The only people that were there were Shadow and Vector. "Hey guys," said Sonic. "What is going on with high school?"
It sure is crazy,
laughed Vector while he ate his yellow sandwich. "Has anything new happened today?" said Sonic to them. "Didn't you hear?" said Shadow. "Espio is back out from the hospital. He would be here at lunch right now, but he is getting all of his work from his teachers."
That reminds me,
said Vector.
Also, Knuckles is having trouble with grades. Now that he has become a baby, he has not turned in any of his homework or tests, and he is going to fail high school and get kicked out if he doesn't do them.
"Wow, that's tough," said Sonic, and then all of a sudden, the announcement speaker came on. "Attention, teenagers," said the announcement speaker. "Amy and Rouge have detention for going in the boys' room last night after the play. Please go there immediately."
I think that's detention, actually.
Oh, yeah. "Amy and Rouge have detention for going into the boys' room last night after the play. Please go there immediately." "Oh, no," said Sonic so immediately. "Looks like they're gonna be in there for a long time," said Shadow. "There's no way I can become true boyfriend and girlfriend with Amy if she's trapped in detention by having sex," said Sonic. Sonic was so upset now. Then the announcement speaker came on again. "Attention, teenagers. Sonic, please come to the office," said the speaker.
Uh-oh, looks like you're in trouble too,
said Vector. Vector was always making people mad. He was definitely an asshole to be around. Sonic got embarrassed like when Miss Lesson read about his balls problems. Good callback. And he ran out of the lunchroom and through the halls with his head down, not looking or talking to anyone, and went to the office. "Hello?" said Sonic to the office. "What do you want?"
"Here, this is for you,"
said the school worker, who had long hair and a star tattoo with an outline on her face.
"Rouge left it for you before going into detention."
Sonic went over to the desk she was at, and looking at and pointing to, and found what she was talking about, which was Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. with a note attached to them that said,
"Please take care of us while Rouge and Espio are not around."
Sonic was so surprised. He had never taken care of a baby before, forget two, especially when one of them was his friend after becoming a baby.
"Thanks for coming so quickly,"
said Knuckles Jr.
"I was getting hungry."
Knuckles Jr. was red. Sonic picked up Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. and put them in his backpack and went to the rest of his classes and then went home. Sonic got home and opened his backpack and took Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. out and put them on his bed. "Welcome to my room," said Sonic. "Don't check out the pornos on my desk if you don't want to see them," said Sonic. "You are both only babies." Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. laughed and ate food that Sonic brought up for them after they laughed. "Hey Sonic," said Knuckles. "You gotta help me out with my homework. It is very hard to write as a baby." So then Sonic helped Knuckles learn to write, and he finished doing his homework as a baby. Knuckles probably did a lot of things wrong, but Sonic did not care because homework was boring. Then Sonic went to mow the lawn, which made his balls itch extra, and then he went back upstairs, but stopped on the stairs to put some soothing poultices on his balls. What a choice of words! "So what do you guys do for fun?" said Sonic to Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. "Well," said Knuckles, "can we tell you and promise you'll not tell anyone?"
"Don't worry,"
said Knuckles Jr. to Knuckles.
"I can tell he will not tell anyone."
"Okay then," said Knuckles to Sonic. "When we're alone and not being held by Rouge, we like to practice kissing on each other. It's technically okay because I'm Knuckles Jr.'s dad, and a dad is allowed to kiss his baby." "Cool," said Sonic. "Show me." So Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. got very up close to each other and kissed each other in a really good way. It was okay because they are father and son and also both brothers, and that is allowed everywhere, and it is not illegal, even if they are both babies now. The two of them kissing looked like two big, not sexual, caterpillars pushing themselves together. It was not a sexual kiss, but it was a big gold medal kiss anyway. Wow, I can tell you're both going to be romance experts when you grow up, said Sonic. I would ask you for tips, but it would probably then be against the law. Sonic asked them to kiss one more time, and they did, but Sonic videotaped it this time so that he would know how to kiss Amy even better next time they kissed, which would be when she gets out of dentation. Then they all had a root beer and talked about which girls are the hottest.
That part's not illegal. We want to be clear.
It's very not illegal.
Videotaping two babies making out is not illegal.
Because they're father and son and also
brothers.
Half-brothers, really. I mean, come on. Well... Is Knuckles...
No, because...
Knuckles is not a half.
With the science magic, Knuckles became Espio's... With the science magic, Knuckles became Espio's biological child, right? So they're technically full brother... No, wait.
No, because Knuckles Jr. is Knuckles'
they're still half-brothers.
son.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But he just kind of flew into Rouge. He's not Espio's, kid, right?
No, it's because...
I'm going to need a chart.
Look,
for this.
We can go back and listen to that chapter, but I promise you, according to Einstein, you do become that person's biological child.
Who, again...
Which is why Knuckles now looks like Espio.
Right. Who, again, we have to emphasize, it's I-N-E-S-T-I-N-E.
Who killed his wife after she turned himself into a baby during a romantic pasta
Sonic
dinner.
High School.
All right.
Which girl do you think is the hottest? Said Sonic to Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. I know my answer. It is Amy. Amy was Sonic's girlfriend, so this was very good of him to say. It proves that he should be able to have sex with her. No way, said Knuckles. Just then, Sonic wanted to slug that little fag bitch in the mouth for saying ugly about his girlfriend, but didn't. The hottest girl is Rouge. None of them could not say that Rouge was not attractive because she had the absolute biggest boobs in the tri-state area.
My opinion is different,
said Knuckles Jr.
I think the hottest girl is Charmy.
They all laughed so hard because Charmy was so much like a girl, except not hot. Everyone knew that laughing was good for them, even if Charmy was kidnapped or dead, and that it made them feel healthy. Knuckles Jr. was definitely the coolest baby because everyone could get along with him, and he could do jokes also. Then they all got out of their clothes and into bedtime clothes and went to sleep. Sonic was sleeping just fine and normally until there was a whisper at the edge of his face.
Sonic, Sonic, Sonic,
said the whisper.
Sonic, Sonic, Sonic.
Sonic opened his eyes and saw the person whispering to him, and who he saw was right there, which was Knuckles Jr. What is it, Knuckles Jr.? Said Sonic to Knuckles Jr. I was sleeping until you whispered my name to me.
I had a vision,
said Knuckles Jr.
I know who the real Killer Man is, and I know where Tommy is.
Author's note. If you have any comments or compliments or questions or suggestions, please leave a review or comment. I really like getting them, and it makes me want to write more. I could probably write a Wikipedia about everything in this series so far. Sonic High School, Chapter 17. Ass! This window will not open, not even a little,
said Sonic, as he tried pushing the window of the house where Charmy Bee was in Knuckle Jr.'s vision. Sonic even put his back up against the wall and tried using the top of his head and hands to push up on it, but it just would not move because it was just such a big and heavy closed window.
It looks like you are having a hard time,
said Knuckles Jr.
Weak pussy.
Knuckles Jr. laughed because he was kidding, but Sonic did not think it was that funny and gave him a look that was like he just took the pickles off of Sonic's hamburger that he specifically asked for pickles on. In addition, Sonic really liked pickles.
We need help, but I do not want to bring someone else into this problem,
said Sonic to Knuckles Jr., thinking. Sonic thought about,
who is strong?
He thought of some people, like Knuckles, but then remembered that he is now a baby and hence thus not a strong guy, and Tails, who was not strong but probably had some strong robots, and Espio, who was probably about the same in strongness as Sonic, but Sonic did not want to ask him for help because that would be like saying,
you are stronger than me.
And Sonic did not want to say that to Espio. He also thought of Big the Cat, who was in some retard classes at school. Oh, come on. Dude.
Ouch.
But he did not want to talk to him because it was always weird. There was only one person that Sonic could think of.
Come with me, Knuckles Jr.,
said Sonic to Knuckles Jr. It was the middle of the night, and Sonic and Knuckles Jr. went up to the door of a different house. Ding dong, said the doorbell when Sonic pressed it.
Press it again,
said Knuckles Jr.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong,
said the doorbell again and again as Sonic pressed it. Sonic saw the lights flashing on and off inside the house every time he pressed it and laughed because it was so annoying, and the person inside the house was probably just trying to sleep, but Sonic needed help, so too bad. Finally, the door opened, and there was a lunch lady from high school who was deaf.
What is it, children?
Said the lunch lady. Since she was deaf, when she talked, it sounded weird and kind of like Big the Cat, where you think she is retarded, but she actually is not, and it is just because she is deaf, so everything she says sounds totally wrong.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I don't like that. It sounded more like what it id chodron than normal language. Big the Cat was actually retarded though, so it was different. Okay, look, we're not doing that.
Yeah. We need your help. It is very important,
said Sonic, and made a face like a beggar idiot to get her to say yes.
Okay, I will help you,
said the lunch lady. Sonic and Knuckles Jr. were so excited that they high-fived right there because this was just what they needed to do, what they wanted to do. Sonic and Knuckles Jr. and the lunch lady went back to the house where Charmy was and went to the window that Sonic could not open.
Please, open this window,
said Sonic to the lunch lady. The lunch lady walked over to the window, and with just her pinky finger, she opened the window like she was a walking elephant picking up a piece of string because it was so easy.
Wow, thank you,
said Sonic and Knuckles Jr. at the same time in the middle of the night.
No, that is not how you thank me,
said the lunch lady. When the lunch lady lived in Bangladesh as a young woman, she learned about the ancient tradition of sex thanking, and she explained it all to Sonic.
So you want me to give you sex with my mouth?
Said Sonic to the lunch lady.
Yes, because it is an ancient tradition. It is not slutty,
said the lunch lady, who was also really tall.
Amy will forgive me for this,
thought Sonic underneath his hair in his brain.
She would know that I'm doing this for a good reason, and we have not even done sex yet, so she cannot be mad at me, and even if she is, I would let her give sex to the lunch lady too, and I would not get mad, but then we would be even.
Sonic winked and gave her a thumbs up, and then the lunch lady pulled her dress down and sat down on a tree stump and opened her legs. Sonic looked at the lunch lady's vagina, and it looked like a sideways piece of lasagna in between two dogs walking down and away from it. Sonic thought her vagina was really attractive for a middle-aged lady and put his head closer to it. Sonic had never done mouth sex before, but he had read about it online and maybe looked at some pictures or videos really quick, but then closed them before he would get in trouble with Mom. Sonic tried to think about the videos to know what to do, but it turned out Sonic was quite the sex man. It all came naturally to him anyways. Sonic opened his mouth and chewed on the lunch lady's vagina really hard like Pac-Man running into the bottom of one of the ghosts non-stop. She was totally quiet while he did this, but she was beating on the ground and making huge holes like meteors and even hit a tree nearby and it broke in half because she was so in love with Sonic's abilities. Sonic nibbled on her outer vagina and it tasted like a birthday cake. His penis even popped up during this like a meerkat looking out for its family on Meerkat Manor. He kept on going closer into her vagina and making sure to get every part of it on the way down like a window washer in New York City washing windows, but instead it was her vagina, so it was sexy. Sonic also kissed and sucked on her vagina like he was trying to appreciate the secret sauce in the lunch lady's roast beef sandwich without opening the sandwich. Sonic even used his tongue and scooped eggs out of her vagina that were usually made during the female reproduction process. He kept going further into her vagina until he was able to fit his entire head in. It was really dark inside her vagina because there weren't any. It was really dark inside her vagina because there weren't any lights, but it was clearly where the sexiest parts of her were. It was spacious, like an empty factory from all the previous sex thanking people had done to her.
Just like a slow dum 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 dum.
Sonic was able to get them, sex spots, all using his mouth and nose and forehead, pleasing her and making her fall in love with him. He was rolling his head around in her vagina like he was doing a hula hoop on his neck. She was so impressed that Sonic thought she would email everyone in Bangladesh to tell them how good Sonic was at sex thinking later. Sonic decided it was time to finish doing this and shouted,
"Yeah!"
inside her vagina to make vibrations bounce off the walls of her vagina and hitting all her sex spots at once. The lunch lady was so excited that she pulled the tree stump that she was sitting on out of the ground. She could do this because she was very strong and experienced with carrying trees. Sonic took his hat out of her vagina and brushed the vagina crumbs off his face and combed his hair.
"You're welcome,"
laughed Sonic smoothly to the lunch lady, who looked, and Knuckles Jr., who was watching with big eyes but did not say anything. The lunch lady put her clothes on and shook his hand and said that the people of Bangladesh would be very impressed with him, and that if he ever wanted to visit there, just to tell her, and she could buy plane tickets for him and all of his friends. The lunch lady was really nice, even if she had weird ideas that she got from being in Asia when she was little. She went back home to go to sleep. Sonic and Knuckles Jr. then went inside the open window.
He is in there, I knew it!
Said Knuckles Jr., who was pointing at a closet in the room that they were in, which was now inside the house, and it was a bedroom inside. Sonic and Knuckles tiptoed over to the closet and opened it up, and what they saw was surprising and shocking and scary. It was Charmy Bee's body, all dead and bloody and rotting and cut up into pieces.
Wow, he's completely dead,
said Sonic, who was so shocked that he could not think about anything else. It was true. This time it was really Charmy and he was dead.
Oh my god, I am seeing so many shocking things for the first time today!
said Knuckles Jr. Sonic went down and picked up a piece of his body and saw bite marks in it. Sonic was about to say something, and then all of a sudden this happened.
What are you doing, idiots?
Shouted Vector.
How did you get in here?
That window, bitch dick,
said Sonic as he felt a sudden rage build up inside him like the foam from cream soda going over the top of the glass when someone pours it like an idiot ass.
What is wrong with you? Why did you do this? Why are you the murderer?
Ha ha, let me show you how!
Said Vector as he ran at Sonic and Knuckles Jr., chomping his teeth in the style of an alligator.
Wow. What a story. I need more alcohol.
Here comes apple-shaped water. Sick and tired of your daily dose of shitty dank memes? Do you vomit out your ass every time you see Try no more, fucklords, cause here comes Bat Boy! Oh shit, what up?
Watch him roll. Shit water. Watch him roll. Shit water.
Sonic High School, Chapter 18. Vector ran at Sonic and Knuckles Jr., who were there in his room with his teeth going 1,000,000 miles an hour. Yeah, that's hour O-U-R, by the way.
Here comes your death, straight from my mouth!
Said Vector as he ran at them, still going. Ah! Shouted Sonic. Sonic was fast and able to do it, so he ran forward and between Vector's legs, under his body, and hit his head into Vector's penis while sliding through. He was still holding Knuckles Jr., the baby. Sonic ran to another wall of the room, but Vector ran right back at him with his big crocodile bite move, and Sonic dodged him again, and it kept happening again and again. Stop it! Shouted Sonic. Stop doing this! Sonic was sick of hitting his head into Vector's penis. It was beginning to leave a mark, and it was embarrassing to Sonic to have someone else's penis mark on your head. This better come out before school, said Sonic, rubbing the mark Vector's penis left on his forehead.
No, you must die!
Said Vector, and continued to be the murderer that he had turned out to be. No, stop! Come on! Said Sonic, yelling, and he was getting so mad. But Vector ran at him another time, and Sonic kept hitting his thick, green crocodile dick, and it kept getting harder now every time he hit it. Sonic guessed weird things like this were sexy to Vector. Sonic kept hitting his penis and making it harder and harder until one time, Sonic slided under where his penis and stuff was and hit it with his head again, so semen ejaculated out of his penis and across the floor in a big long puddle like a slip and slide covered with mayonnaise. All right, said Sonic. Vector looked shocked, like he did not even notice that his penis was turning into a hard penis. Now Sonic threw Knuckles Jr. at the puddle of Vector's semen. Knuckles Jr. glided across Vector's semen like a baby speedboat and did a roller coaster turn and flew up onto Vector. Knuckles Jr. landed somewhere on him and did a tumble forward and got to his head where he poked Vector's eyes, and Vector began to scream.
Ah! Bitch baby, that hurts, I'll kill you!
Screamed Vector while Knuckles Jr. rolled off his body and over to the door of his room.
Over here, Sonic!
Said Knuckles Jr. while Vector was still rubbing his eyes, which hurt from the attack. Sonic ran over to the door and with his speeding legs, kicked it down like a professional wrestler picking a person up and hitting them down onto the ground through a door. Sonic then picked up Knuckles Jr. and ran through the door and down the hall through Vector's house and saw lots of green things and things that were about crocodiles, and also bad things like rooms full of drugs and guns, and even things like weird African porn videos. Then he got to a different door and opened it and walked into the other side and closed the door and put some things in front of the door to block it. Then, with a stomping loud noise like a bowling ball with legs, was jumping up and down on the floor and hitting it very hard. Vector went up to the door and put his body on it, trying to crash through it like a penis going into a big, hard vagina.
Open this, please!
Screamed Vector as he tried to hit it down. No! Why did you kill Charmy? shouted Sonic at Vector, who was on the other side of the door that was hard to get through.
Because Knuckles messed it all up. Knuckles or Espio was supposed to kill the other one when they fought in the school hallway that one time. I made that fight happen because I wanted one of them to die, because they are both fag lords and they are the only people who could beat me and become the new football team captain. So I went to Knuckles' house instead after and replaced him with a robot Charmy and took the real Charmy home and chewed on his broken body and made him into meat that I can use for meals. He was no use to anyone, especially not you. None of you are
Also, very thrifty.
Uh-huh.
A very efficient. Use every part of the Charmy is what I say.
Traditional cultures always used every part of the Charmy, and then thanked the Charmy gods.
Vector screamed and hit the door, but still could not get through. Where did you get a Charmy robot? Is Eggman involved? This could ruin things for everyone, don't you know? Said Sonic back to Vector like a ship sending a message to a different ship.
I think we're about to date this story. You ready?
Yeah.
When you begin to do crimes, you become dark, and I have now become darker than Shadow. I made friends with Al-Qaeda, and they made me a Charmy robot using Osama bin Laden's technology. He was bulletproof, and he was going to kill first Knuckles and then Espio in the hospital, and then maybe the rest of you if I wanted, but you messed it up, shit idiot.
This turned into Robot Chicken so quickly. Vector hit on the door so hard that it actually started to break.
Let's get out of here.
Said Knuckles Jr.
We can call police. Let's just get out of here and get safe.
Then Sonic and Knuckles ran out of the house, but just when they were doing that, Vector broke through the door and jumped like an alligator at Sonic and Knuckles Jr. and hit them to the ground and landed on top of them.
Now I will kill you just like I did to Charmy,
said Vector and opened his mouth really big to bite their bodies. But then all of a sudden, something came from out of the sky and picked them up, and Vector was left there on the ground looking like a teen loser.
We're in the air now,
said Tails.
I rescued you.
Tails was using his flying tails to fly, and was holding Sonic, who was holding Knuckles Jr. They were like a helicopter? ? What? How do you know we were here? Said Sonic, who was so shocked to be in this situation.
I looked the Charmy robot and figured out it was from Al-Qaeda and broke into the government computer network system data and found that Vector was friends with Al-Qaeda,
said Tails, the smart friend of Sonic. But I thought you were pissed at me, said Sonic, with a questioning sound.
I am tired of being mad at you. We are best friends again,
said Tails. Cool, now let's get Vector, said Sonic. By now they were up above the clouds, which is very high. Fly down and I will kick his face off. Tails flew down fast, and Sonic held on to Knuckles Jr. really tightly. Sonic had his legs sticking out to kick, and they went down faster than a shooting star being shot out of a gun down. They went down back to the floor where Vector was and kicked Vector's face. Vector's head almost spun around because they hit him so hard, but now he was onto the ground. Tails, do that one more time, said Sonic. Tails flew up, and then Sonic revealed his balls, even though he could see almost the whole country from up here. He did not care, because this was more important. Sonic scratched his balls and held on to Knuckles Jr., while Tails flew down fast again. Sonic's balls dragged behind him in the sky, and then they went down to the bottom of the ground, and Sonic's diseased balls smacked right into Vector's face.
No!
Screamed Vector as Sonic's balls smacked into his mouth and nose and eyes like a plastic bag full of pudding. Vector looked into the sky and made an asshole face for the last time, and then he turned into stone, and then turned into dust, and was now dead. I can be glad for once that my balls are very poisonous, said Sonic as he looked at the pile of dust that was Vector before he died and did some squinting. He is dead, and everyone is okay now.
Thank goodness,
said Knuckles Jr. to them.
This was too much excitement for one night. Look at the bright side,
said Tails to them.
2 of the worst fag-ass teenagers in high school are now dead.
Yes, it is all fixed now, said Sonic. They took Charmy's body with them, but not Vector's, who was now a pile of dust, because they thought he had not deserved to be nice to. Then they went home to get ready for school tomorrow, and Sonic thought, there are still more problems to deal with in high school. This is not over, especially for me. Thanks for tuning in to another very special episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage. Sonic High School was written by Dark Doom Firemaster and can be found on fanfiction.net. All music for this episode is from the YouTube channel Silvagunner. If you liked this episode, let me know at Schnedwob on Twitter. That's SCHNEDWOB. If you hated this episode, let me know on Twitter at Dolphin Garage. Until next time, Sonic fans.